Hey there, welcome back to the channel. So in this video, I'm going to share with you 3 tips to help you co-parent if you find yourself co-parenting with a narcissist long distance. Now, I made this video especially and specifically for one of the supporters in the community. She left a comment and said, well, can you make a video sharing some tips for co-parenting long distance? And I said, sure, definitely. So this video is for you. Hope it's helpful. If you'd like to see a part 2 or if you have more questions, please let me know down below in the comment section. Now, this video is going to be for a person who's co-parenting with a narcissist, but it can also apply if your co-parent is not a narcissist as well. So without further ado, we're going to get straight into the video, okay? But before we do that, I want to give you a common scenario. So let's say, for example, you've been at court and you had a court case, right? You had a custody battle against a narcissist. And in the final order, the judge says that the child is allowed to move out of state with you. I have had a lot of cases myself where one parent wants to relocate, and now you find yourself in a situation where you have to co-parent long distance. Now, one of the things you may be thinking about is, okay, well, if the judge allows the child to move and I have to co-parent with this person, what are some tips that I can just use to help me keep my sanity, reduce the stress, reduce the anxiety? This is new. Nasheia, what do you have for me? So, scenario is judge says yes, you can move with the child, but let's say in this example it could be mother or father, right? Let's just say custodial parent has primary custody, non-custodial parent has access during the summer, and let's say winter break, spring break. Okay, so with that scenario being in mind, here are some tips that can help you with that. First tip: prepare the child for transitions between homes. And yes, I'm looking down at my notes, helps me stay on track. Prepare the child for transitions between homes. So what do I mean by that? If the child has to go see the other parent for summer break and spring break, around that time, age appropriate, right? Start having those conversations with that child to prepare them, to let them know what's about to happen. For example, let's say the child is 7 years old and the judge says that you're allowed to have the child move away. The child is allowed to move away. However, the other non-custodial parent will have summer break. And it's May. Okay, let's say the child gets out of school late May, maybe early June. You want to start having conversations about what's going to what the summer will look like and what the child should expect. So that's just one thing to keep in mind, right? You want to prepare the child for transitions between homes. Number 2, you want to have established communication. This is important, but this is even that much more important when you are co-parenting long distance. You need to have your communication ironed out. What do I mean by that? I mean the method, the frequency, and the duration. A lot of people don't think about duration. Method. What do I mean by that? How are you planning to communicate with the co-parent? Are you going to communicate via email? Are you going to communicate via text message? Are you going to communicate via telephone? Which I would not recommend, especially if the person is a narcissist. I would not recommend phone calls, text messages, emails, and if it's a high conflict situation, I'm even going to recommend a co-parenting app. So there's a lot of popular co-parenting apps. You have Our Family Wizard, and there's another one. I think Custody Exchange has one as well. I would recommend a co-parenting app for those high conflict cases, but you want to think about the method of the communication, and then the second thing you want to think about is the frequency. How often do you wish to communicate? Is that going to be once a week where you give updates? And again, we're talking about long distance. So, and when it's long distance, you have to make sure that you're communicating very often. Is that going to be once a week? You're giving the co-parent updates about the child. Is it going to involve daily phone calls? Depending on the age of the child, are you going to initiate those phone calls for the child? If so, around what time? How long? Moving on to the next point of that, which is duration. How long are these calls going to be? Is it going to be a 5-minute check-in before dinner or before bed or first thing in the morning? So these are some things that you want to think about, but you want to have that iron out. It is very important. And I would even suggest maybe thinking about, okay, what happens if we call but you don't answer? Like, what does that mean? Does that mean that I have to call back 5 minutes later or 10 minutes later? Or again, each situation is going to be different, but these are just some things to think about. But the bottom line is you definitely want to have a communication plan in place. The next tip is to sync your calendars. Sync your calendars. This is very important. What do I mean by that? So instead of having to send your co-parent an update about every doctor's appointment, every dental appointment, every football game, or every baseball game, or every whatever, fill in the blank, extracurricular activity, school play, parent teachers conference, you want to have a synced calendar where it's one calendar for the child and both parents can have access to that calendar. And that way, at any given time, either parent can log on and check to see what the child has on their calendar. Oh, that is so important. I myself co-parent as well, and that's something that I realize that especially as my daughter gets to her preteen years and she's interested into joining these extracurricular activities, it's very important that we do that. So I myself will be doing this very soon. So I'm sharing it with you first. It's so important because that way, if say for example, it may be the other parent's custody time, but the child has may got invited to a birthday party, put that on the calendar so the other parent can see that in advance. Okay, so that's tip number 3. Bonus tip: be flexible. Be flexible, allow additional time as it pertains to phone calls, time changes, or maybe, for example, let's say the judge ordered the non custodial parent to have summer access, winter access, spring break access, but maybe that parent reaches out to you and say, hey, it's Memorial Day weekend coming up, and I have an extra day off from work on that following Monday. Is it okay if I fly down or drive down to rent a hotel and just spend a weekend with the child? Just be open, right? Because again, this is long distance. And so at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we're focusing on what's on the best interest of the child, even if there's some tension between the parents. We want to, as much as we can, focus on what's in the best interest of the child. So those are some tips. So quick recap, and then we're done for today. So tip number 1, you want to prepare the child for transitions between homes. Tip number 2, have established communication. And tip number 3, you want to sync your calendars. And for those of you who are interested in receiving some additional support and encouragement, please send me an email to nasheia@gmail.com to get added to my email list. So I think I mentioned this on the last video. I'm in the process of creating an online course, and I'm going to be doing a boot camp, trial skills boot camp, where I'm going to be teaching people how to represent themselves, teaching them how to have confidence when they go into that courtroom, not to feel defeated, not to feel powerless just because they're going to court against a narcissistic individual. You may not have the financial resources, but that does not mean that you cannot still go in and give a good fight, right? We're talking about your child, right? So we want to make sure that we equip you as much as we can, give you the confidence, give you the skills. That way you can feel like you have a fighting chance. A lot of people feel like they don't have a fighting chance because they don't have money for a lawyer. And sometimes narcissist has money and they hire a lawyer, and you're just thinking like, well, there's just no hope for me. That's not true. Okay. So if you're interested in learning more about that, send me an email. Also, please continue to comment down below in the comment section and let me know what other questions that you have as it pertains to co-parenting or preparing for a custody battle against a narcissist, or if you have family law questions in general. This channel is geared more towards custody battles against narcissists and co-parenting with narcissists, but feel free to put your questions down below. I love having time to just go through those messages and chat with you all and interact with you all, and I really look forward to it, and it fulfills me, just being able to serve you all in this way using my experience, my gifts, and my talents. This is what I enjoy doing. So don't forget to what's next? Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you have not already done so. Like the video if you found this video to be helpful, and share this video if you know someone who will be interested in receiving this information and if it can help them. Right here in this community, we don't believe in just spamming people, but if you know somebody who can receive some help, just go ahead and send it to them and help them out. Okay. All right. So next time, remember, you do not have to fight this journey alone. Let me hold your hand and walk with you. Until next time, be blessed on purpose. Take care.